and truly Thai from Thailand. So in Cap, how are you doing? It's 1 at it here in Thailand. It's 9:45 in the morning, and the sun's up, and it's a lovely sunny day. I was going to go running today rather than yesterday, but I thought, and it started off very cloudy, and I thought, wow, typical, just typical. But then the sun's come out and the clouds are going away. Welcome to Thailand. Anyway, so it's game day. What's it called? Game starts at 8 o'clock Thailand time. It's 8 p.m. should I say? It's 2 o'clock United Kingdom time. And so I'm really looking forward to it. Man City away to Brighton at the Amex Stadium, for instance, in Brighton, and it's going to be a tough game. I have no doubt about it. But I do believe, for instance, Manchester City will have enough today to win the game 3-1. We had some news last night. That Ryan Cherki has got a thigh injury. Very, very annoying. Because I believe he was working well with Phil Foden. So that was very annoying. And so, I can't. That's gonna. I wouldn't say, for instance, he was is going to change the Man City's plan. I don't think Ryan was going to start. Maybe Phil starts. He's not in my team to start, for instance, but I believe so. A lot of people had him in as Phil to start. But it's just kind of because we still have cover, and to me, for instance, he's kind of. I wouldn't say if Reinders was injured, then for instance I would have had more concern, or Rodri or Phil or whatever, something like that kind of thing. But I think we have enough without Cherki. But I hope he gets back soon, which means he probably won't go to to France, and hopefully not. And then because if he is, etc., I'll be very upset if he is. And then suddenly, so we'll get him back for the Rags. In a couple of weeks' time. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing well. So, for instance, just been listening to Pep Guardiola's press conference. You know, you listen to Ruben Amorim and his press conference, and here's the way he does things, and it's key, and how honest he is. Now, I hate my players, but then again, I like them. I hate the way we play, then I like it. And then you listen to Pep Guardiola's press conference. He doesn't have to take the mick. He really does. He sits there, and and a lot of people just take a lot of what he says as kind of like truth. What's it called? When are you going to make your starting side? When are you going to say, after next tomorrow, because I won't have a press conference. But he does take the mickey out of the press, and he kind of he doesn't, but he doesn't kind of like his favourite slogan, shall I say, is it is what it is, which I like. And rather than getting into confrontations with someone, rather than going, I think that's terrible, he just says it is what it is. What's it called? And you can't, a reporter can't go from that, because they're looking for the story. They don't have Manchester City's at heart. They're looking for the story. So, for instance, and the story today is Man City, Pep Guardiola wants to pay 1 million passes, which is not true. Boring passes. It's not true. He's just basically saying, for instance, yes, we are not going to, because the question was about playing a different style of, are we going to be more fast attacking this season? Because that's what I believe, we're going to be more fast attacking rather than the side to side to side to side. So Pep Guardiola says, and again, for instance, he said it depends on which team you're playing. Wolves in a different way. Spurs fast attacked us. So, for instance, we got to, but also, for instance, when I mentioned the Al game, it's all right fast attacking, but then you got to leave the back, and pushing everybody forward. And unfortunately, leave the back door open for counter attacks. So so he says, so sometimes I like to play, to possession play football, because it's better, and it's for instance it's controlled at least. But again, I don't think, for instance, you can play a particular certain way in every game. So I think what he was saying, Asked about transfer window. Is he happy to keep? He said, "Well, it is what it is." He says then he went through the players. He went through the not coaches, the directors, etc. The sporting directors, etc. So some are a little bit up and down about it. To me, I think it's pathetic. It really is. We're going into a third game of the season, and transfer window still open, and it finishes on Monday at 7:00, UK time, and it's just stupid. It really is. I can't. Ridiculous. And then the fact is, you've still got that Saudi window still open, and then you've still got this the Turkish window still open. So which drives you crazy, because again, for instance, we got players still linked with teams in that area. So yeah, I think it's wrong. It really is, and just ridiculous. So it's and I'm not. He didn't say anything too controversial. I thought that the questions were okay, asking about the way we're going to play. But again, you've got to say, for instance, it's got to be this. He was saying about as teams change their way of playing football, because everybody blames Pep Guardiola for the way Man City. But ever since Pep Guardiola's come in, everybody plays this crappy playing from the back because of Pep Guardiola, blaming Pep Guardiola. 1 minute he was this. That's never going to work in the Premier League. And then it works in the Premier League, and everybody was praising us, and everybody started doing it. And then people don't do it as good as City, and then everybody's moaning about City. Well, Pep Guardiola didn't do it. But again, for instance, I don't think the teams are, or I think they're maybe trying to adapt. So for instance, the way Man City play, but they're not good, don't have the players. And it's like the United thing, etc., which is case in point. He doesn't have the players to play his system. That's the reason why he's messing up, but he continued playing it. Right on, the transition. The ATR allowing transition. Let's move on. But overall, I thought it was an okay press conference, and for instance, and again, my biggest concern, what's really getting my goat this morning, is the Manchester City playing Napoli, and on the Friday, where we got to play down Arsenal on the Sunday. How the hell has that come about? I just don't get it. How the hell are we the first Champions League game on a Friday? Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday it normally is. So how come we're playing on a Friday? I'm still looking at it. I don't believe it. Man City play on Friday at 8 o'clock at the Etihad. That's the only good grace that I play in the Etihad against Napoli, a Champions League game. So we're going to play full strength squad, and then we play Sunday. Where's it go to Arsenal? Where's that come about? So how can that be? How can that be? For instance, I'm sorry, I get this just gets way up my nose. I just don't understand that. I really don't. So, for instance, the League Cup has been rearranged. No surprise. But how the hell can we? So, for instance, who come up with that? 2 days rest, or a day's rest? A day's rest. That's so pathetic. It really is. That's the reason why you need a big squad. So how can you play Napoli again? Napoli, Italian champions, got the return of KDB, everybody up for it, and then you're playing Arsenal on the Sunday. And I thought, Arsenal's have got to be playing because they're in the Champions League, but they're playing on the 16th. How come they're playing on the 16th and we're playing on the 19th? Who come up with that idea? This can't happen. Honestly, how come they're playing on the 16th? We got to play on the 19th. So, for instance, that's so got my, it really upset me that yesterday. It really did. I really don't understand that at all. Other news. It appears that there was links with now. Let me just have a quick look. AC Milan still linked with Makala Kanji. So, for instance, but I believe money is the issue there. So we'll see what happens there. According to via Fabrizio Milano, but I went on his page and there's nothing done, and it says an agreement between Man City and PSG over Donna is almost okay. Worth a total package around 30 million euros. 30 to 35 million euros. Galatasaray and Man City were again in contact today over the deal with Edison. So it's almost done. So this is driving me crazy. And again, it's going to go down to the day. And my biggest concern is the Rags might jump in for him, or somebody else might jump in for him while we are looking for it. Fenerbahce is now interested in another Turkish side interested in talking to Manchester City. So Fenerbahce. So, for instance, he's interested in not talking with Man City. Interested in Edison. So Fenerbahce have offered £12 million for Edison. So, but again, this is who says this? Who says this? Who says this? A Turkish newspaper. Whoa! Let's all believe what they're saying. Crazy. I'm still steaming about. I'll tell you in a minute why I'm steaming. I'm so upset. Okay. Advertisements, can't stand them. City remain tight-lipped over Savinho. But I think he's staying. Because I'm still seething about yesterday's result. I'll tell you which one I'm more seething about. Which one do you think I'm most seething about yesterday's result? Yesterday's result. Because I can't believe it. I really can't. I'm so annoying. So I'm just getting any City thing. Well, God, honestly, internet drives me crazy. It really does. Right. Okay. So Jack Grealish for instance, doing well for Everton. Got another couple of assists. So I just saw the highlights, and it looks like he's playing well. A friend of mine, my sceptical friend, called me today, for instance, text me and says, well, this looks like he wasn't playing in Pep's system. I think Jack Grealish, and this is the thing about Jack Grealish, because we all know Jack Grealish has got the talent. We all know James Grealish played very, very well. He was one of our best players in the treble-winning years. And I think Jack Grealish is either A, falling out with football, blah, 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 so what he says, or whatever, he had injuries, had a baby, blah, blah, blah. And I think, for instance, Jack Grealish kind of got overexcited about his talent and blah, blah, blah. And I think, for instance, because Man City given every opportunity. It's got nothing to do with Pep's system at all, because he was quite happy to play the Pep system when we won the treble, but not happy he was going to play the next system. Weird. Anyway, so it appears that to me, I think under Jack Grealish, I thought Manchester City, I think what he did is basically sat on the bench looking across, realising Echeverri is going to come on in the cup final rather than he did. And I think also when City said we're not interested, you're not going to the Club World Cup, and he turned around and said, right, I'm going, and Man City don't want him. And how many big top teams actually came in for him? And nobody, basically, really. So, for instance, or everybody was talking about his wages, but the Rags could afford him, Arsenal could afford him, Liverpool could afford him, Bayern Munich could afford him, blah blah blah. So how come massive teams came in for him? And I think he's probably realised that, for instance, his entire football career is going to go down to Swanee if he doesn't pull his finger out. So he's basically, for instance, and he's done what he did. I know it's got nothing to do with Pep Guardiola. It's all down to him. And he said he's fallen out with football. Well, why did you fall out with football? You won the treble. Like for God's sake, years ago, you were on the top of the league. You on stage drinking beer and blah blah blah, happy and smiling, and suddenly the next year, for instance, you fell out of football. I don't know, come on. But I just think, for instance, it's his own. I think he got too big for his own boots, basically. For instance, and I think he's just So I think he's got his own self to blame. So but I do wish him well. I am very happy for him what he's doing at what's it called, at Everton, and so again, he's still on loan for City, so you never know, he could come back and do the same thing. So there you go, Fenerbahce linked with Edison. So for instance, whether we believe that one, as again, it's another Turkish thing. So, but we'll see what happens. Man City's 1,000 passes in a game. That's the target this season. I just love that. The Donna, yes, Michael Akanji. Oh, yeah, what's it called? Jack does it again for Everton, says Braut Haaland. Braut being his new name, for instance, in his on the back of his t-shirt for Norway. Mr. Haaland now, Braut Haaland. So he's happy for Jack. So yeah, one of his busy mates. So what's it called? Well, we're all happy for him. But but as long as he doesn't come out and slag off Man City, then I'm okay with it. Right, okay, let's talk about yesterday. Let's talk about Spurs. I don't want to talk about the rags, but let's talk about Spurs. If there's one, again, I can't go into the Spurs game. I said Spurs is one of my team I hate the most. After you're talking the rags, Liverpool, and then Spurs. And I can't stand them. I really can't. And this is a typical example. They come to City. For instance, they play like animals. They're under the cosh. They've had a crap transfer window, and for instance, they missed out on Savino. They missed out on Morgan Gives White plus elsewhere. And for instance, they come to City and they play like Trojans, and they play well. Everybody's talking about how wonderful they play, blah blah blah. Jamie O'Hara, and then they go playing at home against Bournemouth, and you would expect them to beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth, good team, but Bournemouth yesterday playing them off the park. I think they had their first shot on goal at the 60th minute, and I believe their stadium was as quiet as a mouse. I haven't seen the highlights. I will see it, but here's how annoying are Spurs. How can you play that well against City and then play so badly? And one of the commentators, and that's the reason why I can't stand mainstream media. One of the commentators said, it's because they don't want to get injured for international break. Before the international break. What a load of garbage. Who comes up with such garbage? And so that's the reason why they didn't play well. So I think so like that. Then you go the rags. I watched the two games. Watched Chelsea and the rags, and thought Chelsea was bang lucky. Played okay. Fulham, good team. But I thought their goal should have been a goal, 100% a goal. I just don't understand what VAR. Come on, you're not supposed to re-referee the game, and it's for that. It was a challenge. It wasn't enough. It was just because the player goes down injured, etc. Because it's asking for a foul. He's play acting, for Christ's sake. How can? And also there was another couple of passes before that ball went in the back of the net. It's on the opposite side. He was in the Fulham half, so how can it was just a ridiculous decision that. And but I thought what's it called Pedro the guy scored the first goal and kicked the ball off the hat line for Fulham against for Chelsea. But I thought Chelsea were good. Good side, but I thought they were lucky. Basically, they got the goal by they won the game by a penalty and a handballing decision, and which I thought was a handball because he did put his his hands were a bit high, even though, for instance, even though shielding his face as it were is probably, but I do think it was a penalty, and for instance, and the first goal was a set piece, is it really? As far as the rags are concerned, they're just bad. They really are. And Amarin, my God, that guy looks so much under pressure. Putting his feet up against the penalty. Flip's sake, that guy looks like he's got the world on his shoulders. And for instance, and United fans, we had 26 shots in the match. Yeah, but you had 25 of them in the first half, and you didn't score. And yes, you went in 1-0 because it came off the crossbar, hit one of that Burnley player and went in. But other than that, your 25 shots on goal, etc., not one of them went in. The guys you brought in, for instance, didn't score. Because you brought in Mbeumo and this other guys, for instance, to make you a better goal score, to goal score. But apart from Mbeumo who went in, who scored a goal, which is easy. Regardless of how much the mainstream media glaze it, but at the moment, etc., I thought United were just so bad. And Man City don't pummel this like 7-0. I was quite happy they actually, they actually, to won, because again, for instance, the last thing I want is United, especially the international snore now we're coming into. Then hopefully they'll give them a little bit more. Yeah, we're back now. For instance, the board a little bit more. Yeah, and then go to the Etihad, etc., and get done 7-0. Come on, yeah. So I wasn't too disappointed they actually won. But my Christ, for instance, how can you play? Burnley didn't play very well in the first half, played much better in the second half, and took the game, and how more than once they just waltzed right through their midfield, United's midfield, and they looked 6th and 7th at the end, the goalkeeper as well. Just bad United. Newcastle 0-0. For instance, I know it's kind of north east derbies, just say, but still. But overall, it's got City today. We've got United, Liverpool against Arsenal later on, which I'll be watching. One of those are going to drop points, or maybe both drop points. So, but so long as City do their job today, which I fully will believe will do it, then we'll be able to sit back and relax, grab a beer, for us to be able to sit there and watch that Liverpool Arsenal game later on. So, I'm hoping for a draw. Of their game. But I do believe Man City will get the job done today. Brighton are a good team, but Manchester City are a better team, and as long as we play to our strengths and don't play gun-ho, I think they will be as in the way we played against Spurs. And it's going to be tough, but let's go. But I do find Man City to get a 3-1 win. Guys, I love you and leave you. True Blue time from Thailand. I'll speak to you. Enjoy. If you're going down, or you're probably going down, and Man City are there right now. We arrived last night. But you're going down to Brighton, enjoy your trip, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.